Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, is I read in the book of Matthew, the fifth chapter, in the Living Bible, paraphrase, and it just made me realize because it's Yahweh Shai, was giving this sermon, okay, and he's going into the blessings, coming to the meek, those who are humble, and we really have to take it in and consider, all right, that we have everything coming and really have faith in their reward, and that gives us a new perspective, on how we move, how we see things, how we view things, our decision making, you know. So when you go to the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 1, it says, one day as the crowds were gathering, he went up the hillside with his disciples and sat down and taught them there. Humble men are very fortunate, he told them, for the kingdom of heaven is given to them. Okay? Those who mourn are fortunate, for they shall be comforted. The meek and lowly are fortunate, for the whole wide world belongs to them. Okay? So it begins with saying the humble men are very fortunate, he told them, man. And one thing about the truth, it should humble us down. That's one of the universal effects that this truth should have on all believers, is that it should humble us down, man. Because we come from a culture, all right, that cultivated us to be proud, all right, to be self-centered, to be narcissistic, to make decisions based off emotions, how we felt in the moment, okay, completely the opposite, okay, of the righteousness of the scripture, man. We should move with a humility, man, understanding, that we're here because of the grace and the mercy of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. You know, everything is all within the will and the power of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. There's nothing we're doing of ourselves, man. We can only do what He allows us to do. Okay, we enjoy the things that He allows us to enjoy. Okay, even when you go into the skills and certain gifts that we have, well, that all goes back to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. It's not of ourselves, man. And that should create a humble way of thinking, man, and being thankful to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. But it's gonna go good for the humble of Israel, man. Those who move in true humility, man. It says, fortunate are you. And then it leads up to the whole wide world is theirs, man. You see? So the hopeful elect that have truly repented and humbled down, because this word should be a great humbling, man. And we're always going through things that humble us more, because there's levels to everything, man. And there's levels to understanding, there's levels to humility, man. Okay? So the Lord, as we pray for more understanding, it's good to pray for more humility, man. Because even let's get that real quick in the book of Sirach, just touching on humility, and humility is looked at as weakness, amongst our people, nigga culture, they look at humility as weakness, it's something that's mocked, amongst our people, to be humble, okay? And that's why you have such a very toxic, counterproductive, culture amongst our people because everyone's proud, all right? Now, when you go here to the book of Sirach, chapter 3, and verse 18, it says, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. So it says, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, man. So as we increase, in knowledge and understanding, and channel might increase in traffic, but guess what? We have to increase in humility to go with that, man, to keep us grounded, man. Because humility keeps us grounded, man. Because pride and being puffed up will have you out of pocket, man. And in bad standings with Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. But humility, no matter what, we have or what gifts the Lord has given us and, what status we might have or whatever. Well, humility keeps us in the Lord's good graces, man. Because we don't think of ourselves more than what we are. Okay, you see, and it keeps us in the spirit of being a servant. Okay, because you see these men that have let pride, pretty much begin to dictate how they move. All right, they move as if the church is made to serve them, and they're not meant to serve the church. Okay, well that's complete opposite of how Yahweh Shai taught us to be, man. Okay, so going back into the book of Sirach 3 and 18 again, it says, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord, man. So humility and favor always go hand in hand. Humility and honor and upgrade always go hand in hand. As we've been going over, the book of First Samuel, now we're in the book of Second Samuel, and you just see the constant humility of King David, man. On his way to the throne, man, you see nothing but what? Humility, man, honor. Before he was honored, he was humble. Okay? You see the things that he went through, man, he had to, be faithful to the Lord even in his worst circumstances, man. When he didn't even have a place to live, he didn't have a residence, man. He couldn't even come amongst his own people of Israel, man. He had to live amongst the Philistines, man, to get away from Saul, and he was still in his humility, man. Okay, before he was honored. All right. So before we get the whole wide world, there's a level of humility, okay, that's required. All right. That's why you go to the book of Proverbs here. Let's get this Proverbs 15. All right. Remember, this is a Living Bible paraphrase. So this is Proverbs 15 and 33. It says, humility and reverence for the Lord will make you both wise and honored. So before we become wise, before we can really come into wisdom, there's humility that has to be involved. And that's why these guys really never come into true wisdom. Because they can go into a breakdown, might can go into some history and some facts, and they seem very studious and scholarly as they break things down. But then you look at their day-to-day decision making; these guys never came into true wisdom. And so you can pretend like you deep. You can imitate. You can go study things and recite things back to the audience and seem deep, and that you just this grand prophet, supreme prophet. Okay, well, if you never come into humility, you'll never come into true wisdom, man. Which humility teaches us how to treat each other. Humility teaches us how to receive correction when we need to be corrected. Okay, humility teaches us, all right, patience. Not trying to force things to happen, but waiting on the Lord's timing. Trusting in His will and His timing. Okay, which leads to good decision making, man. Okay, spiritual and wise decision making, man. And humility leads to poor decision. Pride leads to poor decision making, man. And pride goes before a fall. But on the flip side, humility goes before honor. Okay, humility goes before honor. You see, so before we come into this gift of the whole wide world, there's a certain level of humility, and that's why Yahweh Shai, he led off with that. And then it went into the whole world, and we're gonna read that. Um, Matthew 5 and 3 again. It says, humble men are very fortunate. He told them, for the kingdom of heaven is given to them. The earth is going to, just as the earth was given to the wicked, you don't think the Lord going to give the earth to the righteous? Okay? So the earth was given into the hand of a wicked for a short time, but it's going to be given into the hand of the righteous forever, man. Okay? Even when you go here to Sirach 18, that's the difference between the blessing of Jacob and Esau. All right? Esau will have a temporary wicked kingdom, that will be given unto him. That's why all nations, had to submit to the devil and his influence and his way, because the Lord gave this man the earth, the rulership of the earth. Okay? But now the Lord's getting ready to give the earth to his sons, man. All right? His humble sons, man. Because his grace period should be in the time of us being humble. Okay? Now you go to Sirach 18 and 10, it says, as a drop of water unto the sea, and a gravel stone, all right, and a gravel stone in comparison of the sand, so are 1,000 years to the days of eternity, man. Okay, so Esau's kingdom, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, is like one sand on the beach, one grain of sand on the beach, compared to the righteous kingdom that he's going to give his sons, man. Okay, you see, and this is what we have faith in, man. We got everything coming, man. We shouldn't feel lack in any way, and that's something we know we gotta grow into. Something I've grown into in the truth and constantly growing into. Like, nah, hey, we don't have no lack. We got Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, we got this wisdom, this understanding. We got comfort in the times where people are finna be distressed. People are finna stroke out just because they don't have this understanding. People are gonna have literal strokes and heart attacks, man, based on seeing how these things are finna unfold, man. Okay? Well, we have the comfort of the scriptures, man. So we're not lacking in anything, man. We got everything that we need to make it to the eternal reward, man. Okay? Because, it's been, you have your wants. You few sisters, man, you have your wants. You know, you have a scenario in your mind, how you think things should be. But really, damn that scenario, how we think things should be. We got to focus on what's right in front of us and what is, man. Okay, and tap into that. Make the best out of whatever situation the Lord has put us in, man. Okay, because we'll get all our desires in the kingdom. Okay, and it's gonna be a much pleasurable experience in the kingdom. Because the things we want, remember, everything on this side is corrupted and tainted. Okay, and as Israelite men, we should want power. The earth is gonna hit different when we get our power back. That's what brothers. That's what we have to understand. The earth gonna hit different when we get our power back, man. You know, everything on this side, all right, that we can get, that we can obtain on this side, man, it's gonna come with the side effects that come with this kingdom, man. Okay, it's gonna come with the fine print of this kingdom, man. Everything that we can obtain on this side, it comes with the fine print of corruption of this kingdom, man. All right, but when we get on the other side, we're gonna be in our power, and everything we're gonna get is gonna be in this righteousness, man. Okay, and we have to have faith in their reward, man. And that takes away the spirit of like we're lacking something. We're not lacking anything, man. We got abundance, man. There's a buffet of wisdom that goes out every day. Every day we wake up, man, we wake up to a buffet of wisdom, man. Okay? We have more than enough, man. Okay? The earth is being flooded with the truth, man. All right? And it's a comfort to us. The Lord gave us the spirit of faith, the gift of faith, which we believe was written. We believe these lessons that are going out. And it's comforting us in the time of distress, man. We're going to see the value of being comforted in these times, man. The way that these people are finna bug out, man. See, we haven't really seen the value of what we already have now, okay? But we're gonna see it more as this place collapses, man. We're gonna really see how blessed of a position that the Lord has always had us in, okay, in these circumstances, man. We're gonna see how blessed we've been from the time we came into the truth until the time of chaos, man. Okay, so um, going back into it, all right. When you get Matthew 5 and 3, and it says, "Humble men are very fortunate," he told them, "for the kingdom of heaven is given to them. Those who mourn are fortunate, for they shall be comforted." Man, yeah, we mourn at the state of the earth, man. We mourn that this nigga is still in power. Okay, and if you don't have a problem with how the so-called white man rules the earth, you're just here to be judged, man. If it's not clicking that this man needs to be judged and removed from power and ultimately removed from existence. If that's not clicking, then you're a part of the problem, man. Okay? And the Lord sent you here to be judged, man. Watching Elder Yashawama video, okay, you had these Christians and they whole thing is defending the so-called white man. That's all our people want to do. Our people hate to see the so-called white man be uncomfortable, man. You know, and if you have a mind frame like that, you was born in the earth just to be judged, man. At least the Lord has something click, all right, before judgment go out, all right, and you get it. But for the most part, we understand that the majority of our people, all right, we're here to be judged, man. You know, because we even mourn at Esau, Edom in power, and we understand the effect that it's having on our people, man. See, Jake don't understand the effect that Esau's rulership has on them, man. It's putting them in bad standards with their power, which keeps them in the place of punishment. Okay, keeps them in a low place. All right, and then look what this man's rulership is doing to the earth, man. Okay, and we're tired of seeing Jake just getting worse and worse, man. You see, the elect have the mindset of leaders. You see, the first fruit that the Lord has risen up, the house of David, they have the mindset of leaders. They have a vision. Okay, and we can see as long as this system is set up, our people only get worse, man. Okay, and that puts us in the spirit of mourning, man. Like, look, this is played out. This only gets worse, man. Okay, you look at the men and women, all right, of our people, man, and they're only getting worse. They're only getting more degenerate, man. Okay, as long as this man is in power, our people are going to continue to go backwards, as the scriptures say. Okay, so when you read this, it says, those who mourn are fortunate, for they shall be comforted. See, because we're mourning because we get it. It's starting to click. We get it. That's why the scriptures speak about put a mark on those that sigh and cry. These they get it. You know, they understand the assignment now. Okay, this grace period was for us to wake up in the truth and begin to understand the assignment, man. As men, we're understanding the assignment as the sons of God. No, our purpose is to enforce righteousness in the earth forever, man. Not to be curious in any other way outside of what the Father, all right, has established as how we should be. Okay, we're understanding that assignment now, man. You know, and as women, you should understand the assignment of aiding those men. Okay, I'm here to aid those. My purpose of existence to aid those men as they enforce the righteousness of the Heavenly Father in the earth through His Son forever, man. Okay, the grace period for us to understand the assignment. Okay, and if you're mourning, that's because you understand the assignment. Because we're seeing the exact opposite of what the Lord wants for the earth, man. All right, let it be done on earth as it is in heaven, man. That righteous order. Okay, and that's not happening now. Righteous judgment is slack. You know, so if you're in the spirit of the righteous, man, you're gonna mourn at the current condition of the earth, man. All right, and the Lord balances it out with the joy of everything we have to look forward to. Okay, so reading on, it says, the meek and lowly are fortunate, for the whole wide world belongs to them. The whole wide world belongs to them, man. All right, and that goes back to the promises of our forefathers, man. You know, let's go back to Genesis, okay, when Jacob was blessed, okay, by Isaac, man. You know, so you go to Genesis 27 and just get to the point. Genesis 27 and starting at 27, it says, the smell of my son is the the good smell of the earth and the fields that Yahweh has blessed. May the Most High always give you plenty of rain for your crops and good harvest of grain and new wine. Okay? And see, that's the true wealth is resources, man. We're finna come back into true wealth, man. See, right now, Esau, you know, he tricked everybody into this industrial mindset to where people have left off from, you know, owning land and having gardens and orchards and livestock, which those things are true wealth because it gives you autonomy, okay, or some form of sovereignty as a family, okay. But he has herded everyone to these cities to where you go trade your labor to go get this fake money just to go get the resources that we had when we was on the land. Okay, everything that you spend money on to buy, majority of the things that you go buy is things that you will have readily available on your own land. But this man tricked everybody into these cities, the convenience of the cities. So now you got to go trade your labor in, all right, to go get, all right, his fake money to go buy the resources that you will have readily available at your land, man. Okay, so we understand wealth differently now, man. You see, the Bible it was here to put us on game. We think like we begin to think like rulers, man, in every aspect. Okay, and if you're a ruler, you want ownership of land and resources, man. Okay, not a bunch of slave notes, the FRN notes. Okay, to where you got to go labor and slave. That's why I call slave notes because you got to go slave to get those notes. Okay, just to go buy the resources that we're supposed to have ready available all around us, man. Okay, but in the kingdom, we're getting back, all right, to the true wealth, man. You see, we got everything coming. That's why chasing the bag, what do you have to do to chase the bag? You have to slave, all right? You have to commit yourself to this beast system. You got to go slave, okay, to get the notes, to go buy the resources from the nigga that you slaving for. So this nigga get he get your labor, and you give him the slave notes that he gave you. You give it right back, you know, so he can give it to you again, so you can go get the same resources that we're supposed to have already ready available around us, man. Okay, so it's a big scam, and that's another thing. We wake up to the scam, okay? What they call, the modern woman. It's a big scam. This whole work system is a scam. Political system, scam. Any religion, all of it is a scam. You see? And that's one of the things that we wake up to is the big scam. And we stop operating based off the scam, which, we got to participate to some degree because the earth is still given into this hand of the wicked and we still here. Okay? But as we begin to operate more like our forefathers, the scriptures say, seek the old paths, man. We begin to move and operate like them. It makes us want the kingdom more. As you understand how things should be, because the kingdom promised us everything that we want. All right? Because before we came into the kingdom, we didn't have these desires. But that's a token of us becoming a new man, a new creature in Yahushua, because now our desires, all right, link up to what everything that the Lord is getting ready to give us, man. As a man, you should want power, you should want land, you should want resources, man. The earth in the kingdom, the earth is gonna hit different because we're gonna have power, you know. Right now, as a man, you don't have Edomite supremacy ain't meant for an Israelite man, all right, to even be a man in this system, man. Okay? It's not even meant for you to be a man in this system, man. Okay? All authority, the system gives all authority in this society to the women. Okay? So that's why even when you deal in this society as a man, you got to tiptoe. Okay? You can't even express yourself how you want. Okay? You can't have no standards. In this society, it's like, you got to play around with emotions and shit that don't matter. It's a terrible experience as an Israelite man in this society, man. So we should want, all right, that power back, man, to where we're going to experience the earth completely different, man, from a position of power, man, not from a position as, all right, a damn slave, man. Okay? So reading on, it says, may the Most High always give you plenty of rain for your crops and good harvest of grain and new wine. May many nations be your slaves. Be the master of your brothers. May all your relatives bow low before you. Curse to all who curse you, And blessed are all who bless you, man. So this is the blessings and the promises given to Jacob, man. And these things are going to be forever. You see, Esau was giving these things and it was temporal. And this man is destroying the earth in his blessing, man. Showing you that he's not fit to be blessed forever, man. Because in these few centuries that this devil has been, okay, in power, this man has destroyed the earth with his blessing, man. All right, the earth is at war. Okay, these nations, like you look at India and Pakistan, okay, they're at war. All right, and you look at the source of the problem, the origin of how these things, jumped off. We go back to Esau, Edom. Okay, and what these nations have his blessing, these fighter jets. Okay, these missiles. This is Esau. He has distributed the sword throughout the earth, and the earth is at perpetual war, man. Okay, and it shows that he's not fit, okay, to be, all right, a eternal ruler, man, because he can't even handle. In 500 years this man had drove the earth, okay, to nothing, man. That's why the Lord say, unless the days be cut short, no flesh shall make it. Talking about the rulership of Esau. If the Lord don't cut this man's rulership short, no flesh shall make it, man. All right, which Esau has had the chance to rule, but he's proven himself not fit. Okay, he's going to be removed. He's going to be forcibly removed from power, man. You know, and the earth is going to be given, all right, to Israel, man. All right, under Yahweh Shai. That's why you even go here in the book of Romans. Okay, not the book of the book of Romans. You get this in the book of Romans, the 4th chapter. Like I said, we got to keep it on our mind. All right, that we got everything coming, man. We not missing nothing. Whatever we don't have on this side, we don't need. If the Lord, because if it's something that we need, the Lord gonna make sure it's there. Okay, if it's something that we don't need, He gonna make sure it's not there, man. And we should pray. The Lord give us the things we need for salvation, man. Because our wants and desires in the flesh will get in the way of what the Lord wants for us, man. You know, so whatever position that we currently in right now, that's what the Lord wants us to be in, and we need to operate and maximize that, man. Okay, the Lord, he gives every needful thing in due season. Okay, and we have to really remember that. You see, so let's go here to the book of Romans. I believe it's the 4th chapter. All right. It's the book of Romans, chapter 4, and verse 13. All right. It says, "It is clear then that the Most High's promise to give the whole earth," okay? "It is clear then that the Most High's promise to give the whole earth to Abraham and his descendants was not because Abraham obeyed the Most High's law, but because he trusted the Most High to keep his promise." Now, that doesn't mean that Abraham didn't keep the law. He kept it to the best of his ability. He kept it much better than us because he had sovereignty, man. Okay? But the thing that pleased the Lord, all right, was his faith. He believed anything that the Lord told him. To the point that he was willing to sacrifice his heir, all right, Isaac, all right, at the Lord's command. Okay, and he believed, he trusted in the promise, even though the Lord was telling him to, delete his heir, sacrifice his heir. Okay, he still had that faith, man. He had that crazy faith. You see, and we're coming to the times where we get to showcase our faith, man, so we can be joint heirs to this promise based on faith, man. See, the promise is based off faith. And as we believe in this promise, it's just showing our day to day, man. There's no way that we should have a feeling of lacking anything when we got all these promises are getting ready to come, man. We shouldn't have any feeling of any lack. when we have all these promises coming, man. You know, this is Abraham. He believed in that, man. All right, and he couldn't be persuaded any other way. Okay, just like the brothers getting into. Matter of fact, let's get the book of Hebrews. You know, because we believe in something that people don't see. You see, we believe in something that no one can see. Like we can, because you can show someone. You can tell someone. You want to go to college and do this and do that. Well, people have seen that done before, so it's easy for them to believe that. Okay, but what we're speaking of, the earth hasn't seen this done before, man. Okay, a nation of people, all right, come out of slavery. Okay, be changed to immortals, rule the earth in righteousness. People never seen that, man. The streets of gold, the precious stones. People, these are things that haven't been seen yet. Okay, so it takes faith to even believe in these things to the point to where, hey, we have to be willing to die if need based on this belief, man. Okay, so we really have to believe. All right, the reward, man. Okay, when you go to in fact, since I'm in Hebrews, get 6, and then we'll jump to 11. This is Hebrews 6. All right, and 10, and it says, "For the Most High is not unfair. How can He forget your hard work for Him, or forget the way you used to show your love for Him and still do by helping His children?" Okay, so the Most High is not unfaithful, you know, to forget our works. Matter of fact, let me get this in KJV. I think it's saying a little better. Um, so Hebrews 6 and 10 in the KJV. Yep. All right. It says, "For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which you have shown towards His name, and that you do minister to the saints." All right, and do minister. Okay, and we desire that every one of you do show the same discipline, or the same diligence, to the full assurance of hope unto the end, that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promise, man. So it's through faith and patience that we're going to inherit these things, man. Okay, and faith, that gives us the drive to suffer and wait these things out because we know it's going to happen. We know the Lord is going to fulfill His promises made to our forefathers, man. There is a righteous kingdom that's on the way. Okay, and we're seeing this kingdom being dismantled. Okay, we're seeing war. All right, is on the horizon. We're seeing this MOTB is becoming a thing. It's becoming a trend, a fad in this society, man. So we see all these things, man. Okay, and we know what it's leading to. All right, so the suffering, we're gonna have to get uncomfortable and we're gonna lose things. All right, but we know we got everything coming. We're finna trade off this life to gain everything, man. Okay, as it says in the book of Luke. Okay, see how it's worded in this Living Phrase Bible. All right, in the Living Bible paraphrase. You go to Luke chapter 9. Luke chapter 9, verse 20. Yep. This Luke 9 and 24. It says, "Whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. But whoever insists on keeping his life will lose it." Okay? So we have to be ready to lose, our life. Even if we don't, even if we're not allotted to be martyrs for the truth, we have to be ready to lose our lifestyle at the drop of a moment to gain what Yahweh Shai had to come. Because when the MOTB is made mandatory, okay, we gonna have to drop everything, man. We not gonna have the ability to pay bills. Okay, we're not gonna have the ability to maintain our lifestyle before, all right, the MOT was mandated, man. Okay, we're gonna have to be willing to lose our lifestyle here right now, all right, to gain life eternal in Yahushua, man. And that's gonna be the token of our faith, man. That's gonna be us, like, having this unwavering faith as Abraham, man, being joined together in the promise with Father Abraham through faith, man. Because of course we have to be Israelites through our lineage to qualify. Okay, well, what's going to seal us is our faith being shown in these times. That's what's going to make us joint heirs with faithful Abraham, man. We have to show faithfulness like Abraham. As Israelites, we have to show faithfulness like Abraham in the clutch, man. Okay, so going back to Hebrews 11, all right, Hebrews 11 and 1, it says, what is faith? It is the confidence assurance that something we want is going to happen. Okay? Something that we want is going to happen, man. And what do we want? We should want all the rewards that the Lord has promised, man. Okay? Going back to our forefathers, man, the whole earth, man. As men, we should want the earth. Okay? We should want authority. And not the authority just to, get the perks to come with it, but to get the earth back in order, man. The earth got so much potential that this devil is destroying. Okay? The creation can't even function properly under this nigga, man. So with the authority, the first thing that we're gonna do is get the earth back together, man. Okay? The creation is gonna be the creation is gonna be able to flourish as it was meant to do, man. Right now, we're seeing a suffering creation under the devil, man. Would you gonna get that? Okay? So we should look forward to this authority to get the earth back right, man. To really get because there's an enjoyment, all right, that you can't experience with this devil in power, man. This devil is in the way of true peace, true enjoying the earth, the nature, doing the Lord's creation, because the Lord's creation is the Most High's wisdom. You see, and Esau Edom, he's choking out the Most High's wisdom in the earth through his rulership, man. This is why he's going to be removed. We're going to just get to witness the Most High's wisdom, in full blossom in our kingdom, man. All the perks going to be there. The wealth, the resources, the women, they going to be there. That's just going to be, they going to be there forever, man. You know? But to experience the earth in its fullness and in its strength, man, that's the reason we're getting ready to get this authority, man. And only the elect are even concerned about this, man. Okay? Only the elect even think like this, man. The condition of the earth. People don't care about the earth, man. As long as they got their daily conveniences, okay, that Esau gives them, they don't care about the earth being destroyed, man. Okay? This is back in Hebrews 11, all right, and 2 it says, um, it is certainty that we hope for. It said, it is certain that what we hope for is waiting for us, even though we cannot see it up ahead. Men of the Most High in days of old were famous for their faith. By faith, by believing the Most High, we know that the world and the stars, in fact, all things were made at the Most High's command, and that they were all made from things that can't be seen. The earth, the Lord spoken, he used the Elohim, all right, beginning with Yahweh to create existence out of things that can't even be seen. Like that, how the Most High just created everything, through Yahweh and the Elohim, you know, out of things that wasn't even seen, just void. He just made creation out of something that was void. You see, this is the power we serve, man. Like, you look at creation and you look at the earth, and especially you start to get back into nature, man. And these things are all the Most High's ideas executed by Yahweh and Elohim, man. And it's a beautiful creation, man. You see, and we haven't even tapped in like of course we're gonna eventually go to other planets, man. But there's so much of the earth that we haven't, that we don't have access to, man. You know, there's so much of this beautiful earth, and this thing with the war. This war is going to cleanse the earth, man. Okay, our land is going to be cleansed. That's why these small hats, okay, are at war with everybody because eventually they're gonna get obliterated. Their land is going to be cleansed, man. You know, it's just going to be cleansed and it's going to become fruitful. All right, and America, which is the cancer of the earth, is going to be removed, man, blotted out. Okay, and it says, by faith, by believing the Most High, we know that the world and the stars is back in Hebrews 11:3 in the Living Bible paraphrase. It says, by faith, by believing the Most High, we know that the world and the stars, in fact, all the things were made at the Most High's command, and that they were all made from things that can't be seen. It was by faith that Abel obeyed the Most High and brought an offering that pleased the Most High more than Cain's offering did. The Most High accepted Abel and proved it by accepting his gift. And though Abel is long dead, we can still learn lessons from him about trusting. Okay? Enoch trusted the Most High too, and that is why the Most High took him away to heaven without dying. Suddenly he was gone because the Most High took him. Before this happened, the Most High said, all right, had said how pleased he was with Enoch, man. So as we look at our forefathers and we see how they move, you know, this is who we should be modeling ourselves after, man. Beginning with Yahweh Shai and the men, all right, that of renown, okay, of our nation, man. We should be modeling ourselves after these men. Enoch goes to Tanakh, which is dedicated, man. You know, who what? Understanding what we know and understanding what's to come. If the promises alone don't motivate us, man, nothing can. If the promises of what we got coming doesn't motivate us to be dedicated, then nothing else can. Okay? And um, it says you can never please the Most High without faith, without depending on Him. Anyone who wants to come to the Most High must believe there is a Most High and that He rewards those who sincerely, all right, look for Him. You know? So without faith, it'll be impossible for us to be joint heirs to this kingdom that's coming. Okay? Without trusting in the Lord, it'll be impossible, man. That's why it's not a works of the law, which the law is beautiful, man, because we're going to keep the law forever in the kingdom and enforce these heathens to keep the law. All right? They're not going to be perfect in it, okay? But there is going to be a standard of righteousness, man. Okay? It is going to, hey, this standard is going to be the way. And they're not going to be perfect in it. There's things we're going to have to judge them on, but it won't be nowhere near what we see now, a completely lawless society, man. This do or die with society, all right? Our kingdom compared to this kingdom going to be night and day, man. Okay? And it says, um, Noah was another who trusted the Most High. When he heard the Most High's warning about the future, Noah believed him even though there was no sign of a flood, and wasting no time, he built the ark and saved his family. Noah's belief in the Most High was in direct contrast to the sin and disbelief of the rest of the world, which refused to obey. And because his faith, he became one of those whom the Most High has accepted, man. So Noah was in the midst of a society that was rebelling against Yahweh Shema Shai. And he was being faithful in this society, man. Okay? And like I say, you don't see the beginning of the kingdom being built. Okay? You don't see the infrastructure, all right, the physical infrastructure of the kingdom being built. But see, the Lord opens us up in the spirit, and we can see the kingdom being built in the spirit because it begins with us, man. So us changing our behavior and our conduct and what we believe in, that's the foundation of the kingdom. Yahweh Shai, that chief cornerstone, we're building on that foundation in the spirit. Okay? But people can't see that. People can't see, all right, that far ahead of what we see, man. We can I can see brothers ruling all throughout the earth in their province in righteousness, man. Yahweh Shai, the throne of David being established, man. Jerusalem being decked out. You know, I can see these things, man. You know, I can see what the Lord is getting ready to do. You see? But it takes faith to look that far out, man. Because we don't see the actual infrastructure being built, but we see the people being built up, man. Okay? We're seeing brothers become leaders, man. Okay? Brothers becoming judges, man. Okay? Brothers becoming more patient and disciplined and moving like the way of our forefathers. We see that, man, and we know that this is leading to a kingdom. Okay? And it says, read notes that Abraham trusted the Most High, and when the Most High told him to leave home and go far away to another land, which he promised to give him, Abraham obeyed. Away he went, not even knowing where he was going. And even when he reached the Most High's promised land, he lived in tents like a mere visitor, and as did Isaac and Jacob, to whom the Most High gave the same promise. Abraham did this because he was confidently waiting for the Most High to bring to him their strong heavenly city, whose designer and builder is the Most High, man. Okay? So Abraham moved away from his inheritance, from his father, based on what the Lord had promised him, a new inheritance, man. Okay? He separated himself from his family, all right, because he believed the Most High and the promises of the Most High, man. Okay? So Abraham, all right, he believed, okay, in a kingdom, okay, that the world didn't see yet. Just as we believe in the kingdom that the world doesn't see yet, man. Okay? That's why you go here. You see, because the scriptures speak about how wisdom will make you free from care. You know, and it will, man. All right, we don't have the pressures that this world has, you know, to have this much amount in the bank, you know, so you can retire or have this much amount and do this, and you got to go here, you get this bucket list of things you got to do, and you know, you stressing about, and you wondering if the economy gonna be good enough for you to save up to send your children to college and all that. See, we don't have these stresses of this world, man. We're free from that care. We got everything coming, and the Lord is taking care of us day for day. So we don't have the stressors that these people have, man. These people are stressed out. All right, you working these jobs. You don't know if the government gonna shut this sector down. You don't know how the tariffs gonna play out. If they're gonna affect your job and this and that. See, these are the cares that these people have, man. Okay, this place collapsing is good news for us, man, because it's bringing us into everything we got coming, man. Okay, so you go here in the book of Romans 8, and I started at 18 and said, yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will give us later. For all creation is waiting patiently and hopefully, all right, for the future day when the Most High will resurrect his children, man, and we've been resurrected, man. Okay? Israel is alive and well now, man. Okay? We was dead at one point. Okay, we were spiritually dead, man, but Yahweh Shai, hey, has resurrected, all right, his body. You know, his body rising on the third day. Well, we in the third day, we're that body that's being risen as well. You know, as he rose on the third day, well, guess what? We in the third day now, and we've been risen. Okay, risen for what, man? To come back into power and righteousness, man. Okay, and uh, it says, for on that day, thorns and thistles, sin, death, and decay, the things that overcame the world against his will at the Most High's command, will all disappear, and the world around us will share in the glorious freedom from sin which the Most High's children enjoy, man. So all Israel, all right, beginning with the elect, okay, they're going to get to experience, you know, the earth in a way that we've never experienced, man, because we're going to be in those new bodies that can't sin. Okay? So that's going to put us, all right, in good standards with our power forever. We're just going to get to be. Okay? We're just going to get to live, man. We're going to always be at peace with our power, man. You know, without the possibility of going off, man. That's part of the freedom that the Lord is going to give us from these chains of sin. We're going to be put in those new bodies, man. Okay? You see? That's why you keep reading into it. It says, "For we know that even the things of nature, like animals and plants, suffer in sickness and death as they await this great event," man. So the earth is even waiting for the manifestation of the scriptures say of the sons of God to come back in the power, man. Okay? Nature, because this ain't right. You see? Nature itself is suffering, waiting on, all right, the rulership of righteousness to be placed back in power, man. So nature can do what it do, man. This devil is a hindrance to peace on every level, man. From people to animals to plants. This man, he destroys peace on every level, man. He introduces death on a whole nother level, man. Okay? The earth, if this devil will continue to rule, the whole earth will be a barren desert under this devil, man. Okay? The way that this man is going. And it says, all right, and even we believers, and I would say it's Christians in here in the New Living, but we know speaking of the believers, man, all right, the Israelites, because true Christians, all right, the term Christian in the Bible refers to Israelites, followers of Yahweh Shai, all right, who they put that term on, it became a political term, okay? So when the governments would talk about the believers of Yahweh Shai, that term Christian stuck to them, okay? But it was speaking about Israelites waking up in these various Greek city states of Rome, okay, waking up to the promises, man, okay. And it says, and when we believers, although we have the Holy Spirit within us as a foretaste of the future glory, also grown to be released from the pain and suffering, we too wait anxiously for that day when the Most High will give us our full rights as His children, including the new bodies He has promised us, bodies that will never be sick again and will never die, man. So we wait till because we have a foretaste of the scriptures say, you know, of the Holy Spirit of the gift of the blessing. Okay, so as we have the Holy Spirit, we're able to go into the Bible and find what exhortation, encouragement, edification, comfort. You see, that's a foretaste of the Lord's goodness that's to come. The ability to go into these scriptures and be comforted, man. Okay, to go into these scriptures and have hope. All right, to go into the scriptures and see the vision and understand. All right, the will of Yahweh Bashem Al Shah. That's a foretaste of what we got to come. Okay, and it says, um, we are saved. Verse 24 says we are saved by trusting, and trusting means looking forward to getting something we don't yet have. For a man who already has something doesn't need to hope and trust that he will get it. But if he must keep trusting the Most High for something that hasn't happened, it teaches us to wait patiently and confidently. Okay, it teaches us to wait patiently and confidently for what the Lord is preparing, man. You know, it's teaching us to trust in our power. The fact that we gotta wait is teaching us to trust, man. It's building our trust in Yahweh by Shem Al Shai. The fact that we have to wait for these things, man. Okay, so you know that's the gist of it. You know, Lord will, you know, you brothers and sisters edified, man. We got everything coming, man. Just believe, all right, in the book, man. Believe in the promises, man, and everything that the Lord promised that He has coming to us, man. We got abundance. We're not lacking anything, man. It only gets better from here, man. Even in the discomfort, there's gonna be joy in it, man. Okay, when we are separated from this world more, it's gonna be joy in it, man. Okay, it only becomes unbearable when we really don't have faith in the promise, man. But as long as we have faith in the promises, everything gonna be bearable, man. You know. So Lord will you brothers and you sisters edified. Till next time I say Shalom. Kwam Yashala. Bible Baal Shalom.